the North Bay, where people spent the day working toward new solutions for the unique American problem of widespread gun violence. According to CDC data gathered in 2022, there were more than 48,000 gun-related deaths. Of those, more than 19,000 were homicides. Both of those numbers are slightly down from the year before. Suicides reached an all-time high with 26,000. Today, 2 Democratic congressmen attended a gun violence forum in Petaluma. John Ramos has the story.
On a day when much of the Bay Area was focused on fun and games, in Petaluma the discussion was serious, deadly serious, as people gathered to explore the causes and solutions to the epidemic of gun violence. Last Tuesday marked 1 year since 7 immigrant farm workers were murdered by a gunman in Half Moon Bay. Statements by the alleged gunman reveal that anger over a $100 repair bill to a forklift sparked the shooting spree. It's not uncommon for minor grievances to become major tragedies these days. And a forum on gun violence put on by the American Association of University Women was well attended by people who wonder what the world is coming to.
To try and get people to feel more empowered about gun violence, like, well, what can I do about it? They don't really know.
On the agenda was a law passed by Petaluma in 2022 and currently being promoted to other cities that requires people to lock up their weapons or face legal consequences if harm is done with them.
It says if you have a gun, you need to keep it safe and out of the hands of the people who it's not intended for. So, out of the hands of an impulsive teenager, out of the hands of someone who's angry.
But many tragedies occur among people who are depressed and looking for a way to hurt themselves. 50% of all suicides are accomplished with a gun.
Access to guns actually makes it easier for people who are at the verge of a mental health crisis to actually commit that crisis and follow through on that suicide rather than call and reach out for help.
Proponents say it's just a small step toward gun safety, but the fight over gun control has felt like a stalemate. And supporters, like a group called Moms Demand Action, say they are willing to make change in small increments if necessary.
We are fighting for anything that promotes common sense gun laws that will prevent gun violence. And our chapter is the most active in the country. And we got 13 bills, gun violence prevention bills, passed last year through the state legislature. So it's not nothing, for sure.
But there are those who think drastic action is necessary. The Brady campaign is advocating a change to the Second Amendment that would limit the ownership of guns by private individuals, not directly involved with protecting, as the amendment states, the security of a free state. Tim Smith, a Brady advocate and former mayor of Rohnert Park, says even in the 1970s and 80s, no one imagined that people would be owning military assault rifles.
The Second Amendment, the technology was you had to put a musket ball in. It would take a while. You wouldn't really effectively do a mass shooting. Now the technology is such that you can add clips and you can wipe out, as what happened in Las Vegas, hundreds of people at a concert. So it's a technology issue that isn't properly addressed by the Second Amendment.
Of course, what constitutes the security of a free state is a matter of great debate, and so far the courts have given wide latitude to private gun ownership. Currently, the fight over access to guns is mostly a matter of opinion, but those who want more controls would prefer it to become a matter of law.
Despite the focus on mass shootings, they only represent 2% of roughly 40,000 gun deaths a year. Forum organizers say most are preventable, including suicides, domestic violence, and accidental shootings.